All right, let's jump right in. For literally thousands of years, there's been one chapter in Sun Tzu's Art of War that people have both feared and honestly totally misunderstood. The fire attack. It sounds so ancient, right? Something out of a history book. But what if I told you it's actually one of the most dangerous and relevant strategic playbooks being used right now, everywhere from the corporate boardroom to the digital battlefield?
So, let's just start with a really provocative question. When is it not just okay, but strategically necessary to completely and utterly dismantle a rival? This is the heart of what we're exploring today. Strategy at its most ruthless.
To really get our heads around this, we need to reframe what we're talking about. We're not talking about literal flames and smoke. In our world, fire is a metaphor for something way more powerful.
So a fire attack is what you'd call a force multiplier. It's that one single perfectly timed move that has a ridiculously huge impact. Think of a targeted cyber attack that just shuts an opponent down cold, or a PR scandal that shatters their reputation overnight, or even a financial maneuver that completely drains their funding. It's not about chaos, no. It's about surgical, high-impact, and devastating strikes.
And this really gets to the core of it. You have to use this overwhelming force with absolute, total control. Because if you lose control of that fire, well, it's always going to burn you too. This isn't just about being strong. It's about being incredibly precise.
Okay, so if you're going to light a strategic fire, where do you even aim it? Sun Tzu pointed out 5 key targets, and we're about to see how these ancient ideas translate perfectly into modern, high-value objectives.
First, you burn the people. Now hold on, not literally. You attack the human heart of an organization, its trust, its unity, its morale. At the end of the day, a company is just a group of people. And if they fall apart, the entire thing just collapses from the inside out. Imagine this story playing out. A rival company is just flying high. They're on top of the world. Then bam, a single whistleblower leaks proof of a deeply toxic work culture. It goes viral. All of a sudden, their best and brightest, their star players, are all quietly updating their resumes. And just like that, the company's greatest asset, its people, walks right out the door. That's burning people. Second, you burn the supplies. This means you go after the lifeblood of the whole operation. Its money, its funding, its supply chain. Without fuel, even the biggest, most powerful engine just grinds to a complete stop. And look at how modern this is. An activist investor spots a weakness and launches this massive short-selling campaign. Public confidence just evaporates. The stock price craters. And suddenly, the rival can't raise another dime to stay afloat. Their supplies have just been turned to ash.
The third target is the equipment. This is all about going after the physical and the digital infrastructure that a company depends on to even function. Its factories, its software, its tools. So picture a rival's state-of-the-art factory. It's their pride and joy. Then one morning, the screens just go blank. A targeted cyber attack has completely paralyzed their main production line. Every single minute of silence is costing them millions. They can't produce, they can't ship, they can't compete. Their equipment has been totally neutralized. Fourth, you burn the repositories. This is where a company keeps its most valuable stuff, its future, really. We're talking its data, its intellectual property, its cash reserves. This is an attack on a company's memory and its potential. Think about how high the stakes are here. A company is just weeks away from launching a game-changing product. Then, a corporate spy gets in, and they don't just steal the R&D data, they wipe the servers completely clean. Poof. Years of innovation, just gone. That product is dead before it was ever even born. And finally, the fifth target, you burn the pathways. What this means is you seize control of their channels of communication and distribution. You completely isolate your rival, cutting them off from their partners, their customers, and any possible escape route. This is such a classic power move. Let's say a smaller company relies on one key distributor to get to market. A bigger corporation just swoops in and buys exclusive rights to that distributor. And just like that, the little guy's path to their own customers is gone. They're boxed in, totally trapped.
So those are the targets. But look, knowing where to aim is only half the battle. To actually execute a fire attack, you need perfect timing and a deep understanding of the situation. This, right here, is where most people fail miserably. The timing of your move is everything, and it all depends on one simple question. Who started the fire? If chaos erupts inside your rival's camp on its own, you strike immediately. You pour gasoline on it. But if you are the one starting the fire from the outside, you have to be patient. You wait. You let that fire spread and grow to its most destructive point, and only then do you make your move.
And here is the single most important rule of them all. Never, ever, ever stand downwind. Every fire creates smoke. It creates embers. And if you aren't careful, that blowback will come right back in your face, exposing what you did and making you the next target. We've talked about the power, we've talked about the tactics, but now we have to talk about the consequences, because this is the part of the strategy that Sun Tzu himself spent the most time warning about. This is about what happens after the fire goes out.
And the warning is, well, it's stark. Playing with fire is the most dangerous game there is, mainly because victory can so easily become just another kind of defeat. This leads to what's known as the Pyrrhic victory trap. It means you win, technically, but the cost of winning was so catastrophic that you've actually gained nothing of value. Think of a brutal price war that bankrupts your competitor, but it also wipes out your own profits for years to come. You're left standing victorious in a wasteland that you created. There's nothing left to take. Which brings us to Sun Tzu's iron rules. These are non-negotiable. If there's no clear, tangible gain, don't strike. If you're acting out of anger, you've already lost. Emotion is the death of strategy. And you have to remember, some damage is permanent. A burned kingdom can be rebuilt, but as it says here, burned bridges stay ash. And dead employees don't come back to life. You just can't undo that kind of damage. This is the final, most essential lesson. The fire attack is a tool of last resort. As the saying goes, you burn a rival ship only if doing so gets you their entire fleet. Anything less than that, and you're just another fool left swimming in the ashes of a pointless victory.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. In your world, in your career, your industry, your own life, where do you draw the line? What's the real difference between a strategic victory that actually builds you up and one that just leaves everyone, including yourself, worse off than before?